Well, I'm going to start by telling you a little secret. A secret that I probably, as a superintendent of a fairly large metropolitan school district, should not be sharing, but they say the best TED Talks, the speakers share their vulnerabilities, so here goes. I really didn't like school. In fact, there were days I actually hated school. There, I said it, I feel better. It didn't start that way. I started school before my 5th birthday, and I loved to learn. My days were filled with song and stories about the world around me. But by 3rd grade, it all started to change. To better understand why I hated school, I'd like to introduce you to the 5th grade inner student of my childhood. She often speaks to me. Well, actually, she often screams at me. She yells things like, "Stop the due dates!" that put an immediate end to my learning. Stop telling me to sit still and be quiet. Stop making me sit in your neat little rows and jump through the hoops just to prove to you that I have learned something. And please stop telling me we are done with a unit when I still want to learn more. After her screaming rant, my inner student usually starts pouting. When will school simply be about me? My goals, my dreams, my accomplishments, my passions, because surely these are the things that will carry me into a successful life and career. Next, she gets a bit demanding. Teachers, when you see the spark, could you flame it? When you recognize or get a glimpse of what I'm really good at, could you share it with me? Because I might not have the wisdom or insight to recognize my own strengths. Now, don't get me wrong. Even at 51, I still love to learn. I'm curious, driven, and very passionate about a number of topics, as my friends can attest to. But as Mark Twain said, I haven't let schooling get in the way of my education. As someone who has spent my life in schools, you probably thought I adored the institution of public education. But the truth is, I was compelled to become a teacher, a principal, and now a superintendent for one simple reason: to transform it. As superintendent here in Lakeville, I'm not advocating against a well-rounded education. Literacy, math skills, and a healthy dose of science, social studies, and the arts is important. I just want it to be more relevant, more personal. Everyone in education is talking about personalized education, but what is it? And harder yet, how do we deliver it? There is no doubt that education needs to change, and it needed to happen last week. You know you need to change when you're getting the same results, even when you're spending more money. Just look to Minnesota's achievement gap for proof. And for us, when you see students going elsewhere, online, magnet, charters. So let's look at this issue from a macro level. The S theory is an economic theory that really shares that organizations have a finite lifespan. The lifespan begins at the bottom of the S curve, and as you get better, bigger, stronger, whatever your measure is, you eventually find yourself at the top of the S, poised on the top of a mountain where the only way to go is down. So as you study organizations, these S-curves typically last around 50 to 100 years. Think Kodak, who had the market share, 90% of the market share in 1976, and declared bankruptcy in 2012. Think about Montgomery Ward, which was the largest retailer in the United States. But the good news is it doesn't have to end there. Through innovation, changing an S-curve, starting a new S-curve, jumping S-curves is a real possibility. The key is to pay attention to the disrupting technologies as well as the market demands and respond. So go back to Montgomery Wards. They still exist. They're trying to reinvent themselves, start that new S as an online retailer. So what about schools? I contend that we have already completed 2 S-curves in education. We successfully reinvented ourselves at the top of our first S-curve by leveraging the technology of the time, transportation, and started city-graded schools to prepare our students previously from an agricultural economy to the new industrial economy. This worked really well until the last decade. So here we are, standing at the top of the second S-curve in education. Our disruptive technology is online learning and digital tools. And our educational needs now need to be aligned to a global economy. It's again time to reinvent our schools and really our education to meet the economy's needs. So now we can circle back to the need to really personalize education for our students, which means meeting them where they're at, letting them accelerate their learning to meet around their needs, their areas of interest, and to real jobs that exist. How do we do that? We innovate. We leverage the very things that are disrupting our current system. We embrace the online digital tools and internet resources to unlock personal creativity and assist in teaching our students at their personal level and pace. There's no doubt that personalization is accelerating in our schools. Teaching to the middle is a faint memory, and it has no use in the schools of today where every student needs to succeed. We will likely move in the next 100 years through 2 more S-curves in that time. And if we are to survive as an American institution, we are going to have to take a very hard look of how we remain relevant and useful, and how we continue to meet society's needs. What I like is that things are becoming incremental, relevant, and personal. And if you follow S-curve theory to the bitter end, that's what you find. If you want to publish a book, you don't need a publishing company. If you want to make music and sell music, you don't need a music company anymore, or a recording company. So follow that line of thinking in the next 100 years. If you want to learn, will you need a school? For me, a whole new world has opened up, where it is more relevant, it's more personal. I can collaborate with folks across the globe in meaningful and impactful ways. My learning is finally relevant and personal, and my inner student is dancing. Thank you.